Hello, everyone. This is Dread from Miss Valley Entertainment News. We're going to take a look here at some music news. I find this stuff fascinating, sad but fascinating. So we're going to dive into this. Why Mick Mars got a win against his former Motley Crue bandmates. So here it is, the Rolling Stone article. Will be linked down below. Check it out if you desire. This says this is by Nancy Dillon. And it says Motley Crue lose battle in ongoing war with Mick Mars. And finally, somebody somewhere told these guys they can't bully Mick, the Rocker's lawyer says. This is January 16th, 2024. Get into this. Here we have a picture of Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx, Vince Neil, and Mick Mars of Motley Crue in Happier Times of 2019. Let me preface this really quickly with saying I am a Motley Crue fan. I enjoy all of their music, but especially their stuff right up until Dr. Feelgood. I think that was their penultimate album. I think that was the best album they ever put out. But I love that and their older stuff especially. But I do listen to their newer stuff as well. I think they're a great, fun band with some great, fun music. I think, however, I have some issues with peoples in the band. I don't really mind Tommy Lee as a person. I've never met him, obviously. Just going off what I pick up on, I don't mind him. I know he's a pretty gruff individual. He's pretty flaky and stuff. I think his drumming is. I think he can drum. I don't think he's a bad drummer. I don't think anybody in their right mind would list Tommy Lee in the top whatever drummers of all time. He's just a good drummer. He's a good drummer. That's it. He's got a very interesting personality. That's all I can really say about him. Vince Neil, one of those who go back to I'm not happy with him killing Razzle from Hanoi Rocks. I'm not happy about the fact that nobody ever talks about that same car accident where he was driving drunk, put two people seriously in the hospital. I don't think they ever recovered fully from that. I'm not happy with his personality. I think he's a drunk and a loser. I honestly do. And I mean, his weight and his vocal problems have not helped him in my eyes or in the eyes of a lot of people. But even before that, I'm not real happy with him. I think earlier in Crue days, he was what he was. He was a good singer. Some people don't like his singing, but he was a good singer for what they did. And he was the pretty boy face that kind of drew people to the band and helped them get as big as they are. Helped. But I think as time went on, he just became the drunk loser, and I really don't have respect for him at all. Tommy Lee, I think Tommy Lee kind of follows after the Gene Kiss kind of way, where he is the guy in the band who promotes the band. He's an expert promoter. He does it by lying constantly through his teeth. I don't think most of his stuff, like the Heroin Diaries, is at all correct or factual at all. I think he just lies and lies and lies to make money. I also think he's a horrible bass player. I've heard multiple people say that, and I know he plays like 80% open notes. He's a fucking terrible bassist, probably a lazy musician, and I don't really have a lot of respect for him because of that. Of those three, I probably got the most respect for Tommy, and it may just because I don't know, like I don't even know. Maybe because he dated Pamela Anderson. I don't know. She was hot in her day. Maybe that was the thing. I don't know. Mick Mars, I have respect for. This guy lives life in a lot of pain. He's like about 10 years older or so than the rest of the guys in the band. And he just soldiers on. And his guitar work is iconic. Some of the riffs he came up with for this band, fucking great stuff. And if you never heard some of his new album and stuff, it's amazing stuff as well. It does not sound like Motley Crue. Sounds much more new than that. Very good stuff. I got a lot of respect for Mick. As a person, he's kind of the shy guy who almost never gets to the press until lately. So interesting. Let's get into this, though. I am a Crue fan in general of their music and stuff, especially their older. Crue fan. Would I ever go see them now? Hell no. Vince can't sing. I would never go see them. And now with Mick out of the band, I don't really think it's Motley Crue anymore either. But yeah, wouldn't see them now. No. Let's talk about this article from the Rolling Stone. From who was it by? Oh, Nancy Dillon. It says Mick Mars scored a victory. Can't believe I talked for almost 5 minutes. We haven't got into the article yet. I apologize. Mick Mars scored a victory in his ongoing legal battle with Motley Crue Tuesday when a Los Angeles judge agreed that the rock veterans had unjustly refused to cough up the dirt on its wide-ranging business deals as it simultaneously sought to oust its founding guitarist early last year. Hmm. In a new court ruling obtained by Rolling Stone, the judge said the band's stonewalling left Mars with no choice but to sue for the corporate documents last April. The Los Angeles judge noted that after the filing, the band took 8 months to make a final, sizable document dump to Mars last month. Citing the delay, the judge ruled that Mars is now entitled to have the band cover his legal bill. In other words, this judge says these guys were in the wrong to not immediately hand over what they needed to hand over. They took 8 months to do it. Because of that, your legal bills are covered by them because they're in the wrong. Quote, the requests were not burdensome. Yet, Mars was compelled to file suit, and it appears plain that production would not have occurred without it. Mars is entitled to attorney fees, LA Superior Court Judge James C. Chalfant said in his Tuesday ruling. Judge noted that when the band produced some of the requested documents on November 2nd, it gave assurances, quote, this was all of the responsive documents in Motley Crue's possession. That proved to be wrong, Judge Chalfant wrote, pointing to articles of incorporation and income tax returns that only arrived among 1,372 pages of records delivered in early December. So after saying it was all of it, a month later, they gave another 1,372 pages, including articles of incorporation and income tax returns, things that were needed and were requested. These documents should have been produced without the need for prodding by Mars, Judge Chalfant wrote. The failure to produce the documents earlier than December 8th amounts to a refusal. Though the judge clearly faulted the band, he also ruled Tuesday that Mars's lawsuit is now moot. That means Mars's more recent request for subsequent 2023 general ledger entries won't be granted because they weren't included on his list of still outstanding documents filed in November. So when I read this, it says so that he can't continue his lawsuit and continue to push for more documents, including, probably was asking for stuff in April, prior to April. And now he's got all the stuff that he used from April through December. He's probably going to have to launch another lawsuit to get that. The lead lawyer for Motley Crue seized on that portion of the ruling Tuesday, declaring victory on behalf of the band. Oh, lawyers and their lawyer speak. The case is over. That's the key takeaway. Attorneys Sasha Frid with Miller Barondess said in a statement to Rolling Stone, by denying the petition as moot and ending the case, well, he got everything he asked for, didn't he, eventually, after 9 months? The court found the band turned over all the documents to Mars and there's nothing more to do, only after he was forced to sue them to get them. The band went above and beyond its obligations by providing much more documents than the statute required. Indeed, the court's decision explained the thousands of documents the band provided to Mars were what he asked for. Mars's lawyer scoffed at this assessment, saying the case is only over because the band relented and complied. Therefore, there's nothing more to the case. The attorney said the heart of the case, whether Mars was illegally severed from the band, is still heading to private arbitration later this year. In his public lawsuit filed last April, Mars made it clear he felt betrayed by Nikki Sixx, Vince Neil, and Tommy Lee, who each are 25% shareholders in most of the band's entities. Mars said that before the band's U.S. stadium tour kicked off in 2022, he let everyone know the tour would be his last. Now 72, Mars has long suffered from ankylosing spondylitis, a disfiguring and painful bone disease that makes it difficult to travel. Mars said he was clear he wasn't retiring from the band altogether and would be available for a Vegas residency or studio work. He claimed his brothers of 41 years responded by offering him a separation proposal that would slash his touring and merchandise profits from 25% to 5% and eventually 0%. When he questioned this on the basis he helped build the band, drawing the crowds, the other members purported to fire him from 6 additional band corporations and LLCs, he claimed. When he asked to inspect the business records behind the entities, he was largely ignored, he said. Wow. When they wanted to get high and fuck everything up, I covered for them, Mars told Rolling Stone in an interview last year. Now they're trying to take my legacy away, my part of Motley Crue, my ownership of the name, the brand. How can you fire Mr. Hines from Heinz Ketchup? He owns it. Frank Sinatra's or Jimi Hendrix's legacy goes on forever, and their heirs continue to profit from it. They're trying to take that away from me. I'm not going to let them. Very interesting. Mars's lawyer, Ed McPherson, tells Rolling Stone that the judge's ruling on Tuesday confirms his client was mistreated by his bandmates. Finally, somebody, somewhere, told these guys they can't bully Mick anymore. We're in the middle of a huge arbitration that will ultimately decide if Mick has to give up his shares or not, if they did things properly or not. Obviously, we claim they didn't do anything properly, but they feel that they're above the rules, and that's what this lawsuit was about, McPherson says. This was them feeling they were above the rules, and this judge saying, no, you're not, and you may have given all the documents now. There's nothing left for me to do, but you're going to pay for it, he adds. I think it's a pretty huge victory for Mick. If they want to claim a victory, that's fine, but this is someone finally telling Mick, no, you're not crazy. These guys are bullying you, and we're not going to let it happen. Well, that's the story, people, and my opinion is I stand with Mick on this one. I don't think him retiring for touring due to the pain in his body is any by any means is the same as saying I'm retiring from the band. In fact, he even told them he wasn't retiring from the band. So for them to say he was going to go from 25% owner to 5% owner to 0% owner out of the band, he even came up with a name for the band. Come on, he came up with the funding to put the band together. He borrowed the money for it. This is not people being fair to Mick, and I think they've long had it out for Mick. There are rumors that Mick has talked about where they've been trying to get him out of the band for a long time, where they've been telling him that he's messing up the songs, he doesn't remember them, and he's too old, just totally gaslighting him on all these things. Going on for years, Mick says, and if you think about Motley Crue, you always see the three guys together and Mick off to the side. How much of that is Mick and how much of that is the other guys, we don't really know, but I'm feeling like Mick is kind of in the right on this. Now, you're allowed to have a different opinion because this is an opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just what I feel on this. And I really wish Motley Crue would be a little more professional, adult. Yeah, I don't think Vince or Vince or Nikki are very adult about anything. And Tommy only maybe just a little bit more, but not much. Let me know down below what you think about this. First of all, I think it's really sad when bands go to litigation against each other. It really is sad. Really destroys something in the fans' eyes, I think, and it's too bad. But we all know most bands don't get along together for eternity. It just doesn't happen. They grow to dislike one another or not be able to stand one another, not be able to be with one another. Certainly know with Motley Crue, it apparently happened before, and they remember when they retired and signed contracts never to tour or play again or together as Motley Crue. Huh. They didn't really stick by that one either, did they? Yeah, this is just a sad situation, but I hope Mick gets his due. And I don't think it was fair to him. I got nothing against John 5 being in the band. Obviously, Mick can't tour right now, so they need a guitarist, so they're going to tour. Personally, I think they should retire at this point. I think they're kind of a laughing stock, and I think they're doing more of an air band impression on stage and some fake singing, some lip syncing more than anything else. Tommy and his air drums, Nikki who can't play anyways. But kind of feel bad for John 5 actually being in this situation. But he's making good money for it. Everybody, that's my take on Nikki Sixx getting a win over his, Nikki Sixx. Mick Mars, sorry, getting a win over his ex-Motley Crue bandmates in court. And again, drop down in the comments, let me know what you think. Keep it civil though, people, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.